Good morning and welcome to the Treehouse. This is Kag with a View from Above tarot reading for Wednesday, September 11th. This morning we are going to be using the Radiant deck, the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the Radiant version, and we're going to be doing a 9+1 reading for this Wednesday, middle of the week. See what is going on for the collective. So because this is a collective reading, please take what resonates for you and leave the rest. I did a deep shuffle already, and so we are going to just cut the cards and start our 9+1 reading. And here is the present energy with its clarifiers. Here is the challenge energy with its clarifiers, and the wisdom energy with its clarifiers, and the bottom of the deck, the Merryweather card. So yesterday's reading was about an old fear, and so we'll see if this is going to continue the narrative or if we're going to come up with something else today. So our first card is the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is the queen who is probably the Earth Mother of the four queens. She is the one who knows innately what other people need, and she is so well versed in her own resources that she knows how to give to others in a way that makes her known as the Earth Mother. And so this is the energy we are exuding this morning, that of abundance and of goodwill and willingness to be present to other people. Our challenge card today is going to be the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is sometimes known as the marriage card. It is the card of hearth and home and pairs quite nicely with the Queen of Pentacles. The Four of Wands is a temporary bower that has been erected. You can see these two people welcoming you into the castle for a celebration. Frequently, a celebration is something that happens for a short period of time. And so sometimes this can be about something temporary, or it can really be about hearth and home and family. So we'll just have to see kind of where our story goes with this. But it is a very positive card. It is a 4 card, which is the 4s are cards of stability. So our wisdom card this morning is the Page of Swords. Pages are the messengers of the deck. And the Page of Swords, you can see that you can't see the tip of his sword. So he's new at wielding the sword of logic and truth. And he is fairly aggressive with it. Look at it. He isn't even looking at the sword, but he is ready to whack away with his newfound wisdom. The Page of Swords also has a tendency to feel a little vulnerable, and so he isn't quite as forthcoming with information about himself. He's much more curious about other people, and that can be either a positive or a negative. If we're looking at a relationship, we might be a little suspect of the Page of Swords because he is not very forthcoming about himself. He's really more curious about you. So if you ask a question of him, he'll turn it around and ask it about you. Oh, why are you asking? What about you? What do you think? And that can be a little exhausting, but this is in the wisdom area. And so we'll have to see kind of how that shakes out, well, what his message is up there. So let's go back to our Queen of Pentacles, and the clarifiers for the Queen are the High Priestess and the Devil. The High Priestess is the card of deep inner knowing, inner wisdom. Sometimes we know things that we would have no reason to know that we know them. They're gut feelings. They are the information that comes when you sense something. So the queen most attached to the High Priestess is the Queen of Cups. But the Queen of Pentacles, who kind of knows what other people need, may be balanced by this High Priestess, and that may be how she knows what other people need in this moment. It's interesting to see the Devil card with these two ladies. The Devil card is a card of trapped thinking, of thinking that things need to be a certain way. So perhaps this queen thinks that she knows how it should be for other people, and maybe that is a trap for her. Sometimes it's helpful for us to ask what others need rather than for us to say, here's what you need to have. Let me tell you how it is. And so that is the sense I get from the Devil card with the Queen of Pentacles, is that she is so well versed in what she has and how she wishes to give things that perhaps it would be helpful for her, and maybe she can know this on a deep level, that an offer doesn't mean we shove it down somebody's throat. Just because we think it's going to be good for them doesn't mean they want it. So it's always good to ask. So that's kind of where we're at this morning. Perhaps we have to remember to ask if people want something and not just give it to them. Maybe they don't want it. So let's look at our challenge here. Those are the two happiest cards in the Minor Arcana. This is, as I said, this is Happy Hearth and Home, and this is Reasonably Happily Ever After. You have attained the emotional abundance of what you are looking for. And so the challenge might be related to what it is we want to give other people. Let's look at this one. This is Justice also, clarifying the Four of Wands. Justice is, sometimes it's related to the legal sides of things, but it's also about karma or consequences. And so to think about the consequences of the Four card, the stability, the temporariness, the Marriage card, and what that might have to do with our Queen of Pentacles this morning. I wonder if this doesn't have to do with not lording it over other people. You have been successful. You are abundant. You know things. And so your desire to make others happy. I think back about an example. When my daughter first moved into her apartment, I saw that her dishes were rough. And I suggested that I would go and buy those for her. And she said to me, Mama, I can buy my own dishes. And so this is how this is appearing to me, is that you have everything that you need. You know what people need, but you're coming from a place of thinking that you have to solve their problems for them. And that maybe is not the best way to be present to somebody. That may not be what they need. You may want to fix something for them, but perhaps that is not the best way to approach whatever is going on in this environment. So let's look at the wisdom. Again, the Page of Swords is somebody who wants to know all about the other person and not really talk about themselves. So let's look at the clarifiers for him. And we've got the Three of Wands, which is the card of expansion, the card of sending things out into the world and waiting for them to return to safe harbor. So this is a card of being patient and of just having some confidence that what you have put in place will return to you. We've also got the Six of Cups here, which is the card of nostalgia, of inner child, of our relationships from our past. And so when I think about these two cards in terms of the Page of Swords, his perhaps self-protective part may be coming from something old that we have experienced, or we just don't really want to be too exposed to other people. So as the Queen of Wands wants to give all of her abundance to somebody, it may be too much. And this may make her feel somewhat vulnerable that somebody has refused. Not sure if that will resonate here. That seems pretty specific to me. So if you are attempting to give somebody or wanting to give somebody, make sure that it is something that they wish to receive from you, and to try not to take that so personally if they say no. All we can do is offer and then wait for that to be accepted, but to not judge ourselves so harshly for maybe patterns that come from an earlier time in our life. So good for you to be generous, good for us to be generous to others, but we have to allow people to say yes or no, that they don't want what it is that we wish to give them. So let's see what Meriwether has for us. Today we have death. So death is the card of transition. And transformation. We are changing into something new. This is the shedding of an old skin. And perhaps this is about the realization that just because we can give something doesn't mean that it has to be accepted. So this is a new way of perhaps looking at how we are present to others in their lives. It's about what they want from us, not necessarily what we want to give them. So be thoughtful about how you wish to be present to others. It is always nice to be asked rather than for us to give without being invited in. So perhaps we wait for the invitation. And this is a new way of thinking about how we can be present to others. So let's look at what we've got here. We have 2 wands. We have 2 cups. We have 2 swords, 1 pentacle, and 3 major arcana. So a somewhat significant reading. The important thing here is that we are going through a process of transformation from telling to asking. And I think that's a good way to kind of sum up this reading. So that is what I have for us this morning here at the Treehouse. If this reading was helpful to you, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember that it is collective, and so it may not resonate for you. Just take what works and leave the rest. So in keeping with the end of this reading, let me invite you back to the Treehouse tomorrow, if you wish to come, for another View from Above tarot reading. Blessings.